Tesla makes electric vehicles. Electric vehicles use batteries, and one of the most important aspects of the electric vehicle battery is lithium. Where are you going to get it? I needs me some lithium. Tesla's taking a unique approach. They're going to refine it themselves. And if we want to know all about it, we got to talk to somebody who's been in the air above it a number of times, who's been on the ground at it as well, who has talked to some of the people in capacities he's able to share, and probably ones he can't. We've got Joe Tegtmeyer, drone pilot extraordinaire from Texas. He covers all the goings on down there. SpaceX, Boring Company, and of course, this little firm that makes cars called Tesla. We're going to have a chat about that. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So, Joe, you have been once or twice to the Lithium refinery. Guys, if you get a chance to check out his video, be sure to hit this button here. It means you've done a good job. More people should see it. What's going on out there?
Just a little bit of assembly of this small little factory. I guess I'm getting good at starting looking at dirt mud fields and then watching things grow out of them. And this is one of them. And, it's been in the process for 2.5-ish years, maybe 3 years. I mean, when they broke ground to where it is now. And it's it will be playing a very large role in what's going on with Tesla with 4680 batteries and, kind of insulating Tesla from the macro environmental machinations that are going on with raw materials and batteries and that kind of thing. And this particular plant, what you see here is how it looked within maybe a couple weeks ago. Unlike what you may hear with other lithium plants, these large ponds are not brine tanks. These are used for water for the site because there's no real utilities out there. So the process that Tesla is incorporating is very different. They don't use these large ponds where they put the materials in and let it evaporate out and then collect it. That's very, resource intensive. It's not the best for the environment. So they've come up with a more inert kind of process. And essentially what they're doing is they're taking, and for an auto manufacturing company to go this far down into the minerals and the mining business it's pretty amazing. But they are taking a raw material called spodumene concentrate 6, which is kind of a rock that's been pulverized, and it has 6% lithium in it. And then they go through a process that uses pyrometallurgical, which is a rotating kiln at certain temperatures, and then they have a cooler. And so they turn that from spodumene concentrate 6 to spodumene alpha and then beta. And then it goes through a hydrometallurgical process in the middle, which uses a bunch of tanks and mixtures, and it's kind of an inert process that takes that material and produces at the end lithium hydroxide monohydrate. And that is the input to the cathode plant up at Giga, Texas, which is then used to make the materials for the cathode. So they're really, that large building you see there is where they bring that raw material in. They have those conveyors that go through the system, and on the other side is they bundle it up into these big bags and ship it up to Giga, Texas. So pretty cool. And the other thing is what you're seeing here is only half of what will eventually be 2 parallel processing lines. But right now, I think they just want to concentrate on getting the first half up, and they'll get their experience and see how that's going before they start building the other half. And, to build this, it's taken them about 2 years. So it's not something that they're just going to do. So it's going to take them a little bit of a while before they get the second half there.
So the second half would be where I see this little pond?
Correct. Yes. If you see that large white structure, you can see another tower with a conveyor belt going to it. It would be from there and then emanating towards the camera.
And so this is the conveyor belt you're talking about. It's this
Correct.
big open section that's, yes, exactly. There would be 2 forks. So what is this building right here, the one in the foreground?
That's the raw material processing facility. So basically that raw spodumene concentrate, which is just like a big powdery kind of mixture, is brought in with large semi trucks, and it's offloaded, processed through there. They have, like, I don't know if you want to just think about it as big piles of dirt kind of within there. and then they sort it, and then they load it into the conveyor system, and then it follows that route over to where it begins that pyrometallurgical processing, which is the first of three main steps to take that raw material and make that lithium hydroxide. The other thing I was just going to, if you go back to that picture real quick, of interest maybe to people, is that in the far distance, you see some white buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not part of the lithium plant, but all of the land between the plant and those buildings is Tesla property, all of it. So there are long-term plans to expand this facility to include what they call black mass recycling, which is kind of like what Redwood Materials is doing, where they take batteries and they do the recycling and reclaim the material. That's in the future, but that is part of the plan, and they have a lot of land to expand.
Well, that's also good news. What do we know about the process that makes it unique? Tesla had said, we think we've got this new method of refinement that's going to improve efficiency, improve the whole process, the cost, and of course, the potential for waste and harm. Do we know anything about that process?
We do. I'm going to just sort of, it's been a while since I actually did a video that goes down into the nth degree, and it talks about all of the various steps and what goes in between the spodumene concentrate beta and the lithium hydroxide. And it does not use lithium carbonate. I know that's something people have asked me a lot about, and that usually requires sort of an acidic, a pretty nasty acidic process, and it has a lot of really bad byproducts. And so there's a lot of industrial waste with that process. This one is different, and this one uses a completely different process where it uses water and I think calcium and a few other things and silicon is in there too, because at the end of the day, besides the lithium hydroxide, you essentially have sand, and that sand is being used as kind of a sellable byproduct, and it can be used with concrete manufacturing, for example, as an input into that. And that's one of the processes that they have in place, is to be able to sell off that byproduct and then make the concrete somewhere. So at the end of the day, it's not caustic. It doesn't have really nasty byproducts that is essentially toxic waste. It's essentially water, sand, lithium hydroxide, pretty much.
Now, what we see here is construction is still ongoing, but this factory is in motion. Do we know what? Yeah.
They've been doing test product through the pyrometallurgical process, the hydrometallurgical process. The building at the bottom, at the time that I flew, which was a month or so ago, it still had some exterior panels, the decking to be put on. That has now been completed. And when we were at the shareholders meeting, they had a great display. They had some people that came up from the lithium plant, got a chance to talk with them, and they should be within a week or two going to formal production. And I'm trying to see, I think that they're going to do an official event, and I'm hoping to be able to be there. They took all my information down and they said they'd get back to me. So hopefully that'll be the case. And I would love to be able to be there to be able to show you from the ground perspective, maybe, and also just maybe talk to some of the people that work there about the process, but also be able to show that it is actually producing product that is going to be being used right off the bat to make the 4680s. And I think the timing couldn't be better, considering what we heard at the shareholders meeting about the 4680s, the demand of the 4680s, and how big they're going to be playing in the Cybercab, the Optimus robot, of course, the Cybertruck, and the Semi. So they're going to need a lot of this material, and they need to have it being produced in a pretty large number. So I would say by the end of this month, for sure, they will be in production.
Now, I noticed they've got a giant cyber whistle here.
Yeah, I think it's just sort of an office and control room
Sure.
for the main process. And of course, it would be able to run both parts of the line. Eventually, at least according to the original renderings, there will be an office headquarters kind of built. Right now, instead, they have a bunch of trailers that are kind of grouped together over by the original lithium archway that said Tesla Lithium on it, where the groundbreaking was. So I think that's going to be there for a while they, there you go. So that's sort of their headquarters, their office, their administration. for a while until they build the formal structure. And that formal structure we built almost on top of this. Actually, just over where the materials are, just to the center north, top part of the screen is where that administration building will be constructed. But as you can see by these trailers, they've actually added, and they're in the process of adding a little bit more. There's like a new roof section that you see, and it's kind of tying that all together so it's all under one structure. And then the archway, they have like little tables and umbrellas, and that's where they have lunch and vendors come out and they do some other events there as well.
And it's exciting because they give us a little piece at the beginning, in this case, the archway. And we say, boy, this is just a big, empty, nothing, I guess, opportunity. And then you watch all this grow up around it, which is very exciting. Hey, on 4680, we know they've had a variety of struggles getting up to capacity, getting their yields what they need to be. And now we hear that Optimus, Cybercab, and Cybertruck will be using 4680.
And the semi.
Did we hear that the semi would as well?
Dan Priestley actually came out and he not only confirmed it, but he has a pretty good post about it as well.
I will look into that. That would certainly free up 2170s for other uses. Do we have any evidence that their production woes are sorted out to a degree that would allow such an enormous increase in 4680 production?
Well, besides what they told us with, they talked about the 4680s at the shareholders meeting and how the dry cathode process had been a challenge. But it seems like they have now moved beyond that. And I mean, they talked about all the products that are going to be using it. As far as the ability to make more, one of the big things that's going on in the factory is the Cybercab production line, but the rest of the factory is being upgraded for that too. And the 4680 cell portion and the structural pack portion of the factory has been growing. They've added more mezzanines to that, so they have vertical space, and they've had a lot of equipment that continues to be brought over and installed. Just yesterday, I noticed even more of them arriving to that part of the factory. So they are building out all of the equipment necessary to be able to support the Cybercab production, which theoretically is going to be pretty large. I mean, it's going to take a while to ramp, but they're going to need to be able to hit that and not be a bottleneck. And Optimus, they talked about at Fremont next year, somewhere they're going to have 1 million robot factory, and then they're building the 10 million robot factory. They've broken ground at Giga Texas, and that'll be a couple of years from now. But all of that's going to be needing the 4680. So I think that they have. It seems like one of the biggest issues was calendar rolling, delaminating the rollers. Basically, the material was so thick or so hard that as they were rolling the material out, kind of like making cookies, rolling the flour out, whatever, it was pulling the chrome material off of the rollers, which was not obviously very good. So they had to go through a lot of trial and error on that. They eventually went with a third party for the rollers. I think they've got that resolved now.
Imagine your rollers being a consumable item.
Yeah.
That's tough to scale. It would be nice to get some updates. I assume we'll hear more probably within the next 6 to 12 months on that. And what I know from my conversations with the Cybercab team, the Cybercab is, of course, battery agnostic. It is chemistry and form factor agnostic. Let me see if I've got this here. I've got, when I went out there, I got to talk with the whole team. So they, the benefit there is that we've got, if you're going to be building these in China, you're probably not going to use a 4680 there. If you're going to be building them in Berlin, you probably might use a 4680. They do have the battery facility there in Berlin that hasn't really got online. But anything is possible, and nothing can't be done in terms of battery chemistry and form factor on the Cybercab.
This is sort of a question for you, but I think you probably know, aren't some of the third-party vendors like Panasonic also making 4680, that form factor? So those may be coming online as well.
So the Panasonic design is not a tabless, or as I call it, oops, all tabs.
Mm.
It is a 3 or 5 tab design, which means you can't move the energy in and out quite as quickly. But if you have a cajillion of them, like you would in a semi, that's okay. You don't need to move the energy that quickly when you've got an 800 kilowatt pack. So uh, others are making it. I had a chance to talk with a gal, Jen, who is in Portland, who worked at the Cato Road facility. She gave us a presentation about 4680s, and I would ask questions like, not Tesla, Jen, not Tesla, but other companies making 4680s have seen delays. Is there something bedeviling about the form factor? And she would say, that's still too close to a Tesla question, Brian. I cannot answer that. So there is potentially something vexing about the form factor itself, but I do not have an answer. But yes, other manufacturers, as soon as Tesla announced it, other manufacturers, all of them, almost all of them, began work on their own. So that would be potentially helpful.
Yeah, you know what question? If I could have asked Elon at the shareholders meeting, what I would have asked is, what is your biggest constraint, batteries or chips?
Oh, I think my guess would be today batteries, tomorrow chips. Um, Tesla has a partnership, of course, with Panasonic. They buy a lot of batteries from LG. In China, they buy batteries from BYD, and they just announced a partnership with Samsung to buy batteries. If you make good batteries, we will buy them. Because, and the beauty there is, unlike the other manufacturers, Tesla does not cancel order. They do not cancel entire cars the way we see from everyone else. And that makes you the customer of first resort. So you get a lot of preference when your suppliers know that you are legit. So anything I'm missing about this, and by the way, this shot is great because you get to understand just how busy and full it is on the ground. Some of the zoomed out shots make it look show more landscape than industry, and
Right.
this is a machine.
Yeah, well, part of the reason why I like this shot, not only because you get the details, but you can see smoke rising. They're actually doing stuff, which is cool.
It's a clue.
Yeah.
Anything I'm missing to ask about the lithium factory?
Probably I was able to confirm this, but originally the plan was to have a rail spur. There's a railroad track very, very close to there, and they were going to use the rail spur to have it go to that raw materials facility so they could bring it directly from the port, because a lot of it's being brought in by ship and then it's being unloaded and then brought over to the factory. And having the rail spur would have been really helpful. But I haven't seen it being built at all, even though I have talked to some of the people, that railroad people that are around there, and they said maybe a year and a half ago, yeah, we're going to be doing that. It's not there. When I was talking to the lithium people, they've decided, at least for right now, trucking is more efficient for them than using the rail spur, but there's still the ability for that if they want to do that somewhere in the future. So right now, we're going to just see a lot of semi trucks arriving, bringing in the spodumene. Couple of videos ago, I actually caught a lot of that happening, and that's when I knew, hey, something is definitely changed. They're bringing in the raw material. So there's that to be looking forward to, and I think when they really ramp up, they may re-look at that rail spur.
And that's something that was in your very earliest videos, as you pointed out how close the existing rail already was. And I am surprised by that, because when the rail exists, we saw the construction in Berlin took extreme use of the railroad because you could bring in so much volume and just kind of park it there while you're dealing with it.
Yeah, I got asked so many times at Giga Texas, when are they going to bring the railroad in like Giga Berlin? The answer is never.
Oh, never. Not there. Not there. How far away is that rail yard in for loading to the northeast?
Up at the Taylor one, it's approximately 15 miles, give or
That's
take.
great. That's great. That's not bad at all. You can run back and forth all day on with 15 miles, except for the fact that Austin traffic can be difficult.
Yes.
Austin and Dallas are only a couple hours apart. You know what else? A couple hours apart, one side of Austin from the other
Yeah.
during rush hour.
Yeah,
So
or it can be from Kyle, Texas to the factory, depending on the time of day. I have
yeah,
to see that all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. Joe, thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. Head over to Joe's channel, see what he's up to. I know we've all watched him at some point. If you haven't watched him lately, he's been adding more and more value, more and more analysis. And he's got fantastic folks in the comments like Desi Doolin, who will stop and analyze everything
Right.
and help us all get a clearer picture. Joe, the community appreciates you. It's great visiting with you. I had a great time chatting with you over the last week at the shareholder uh, situation, I guess, the meeting, the parties, and whatnot. Everybody in the comments, what do we miss? What do we misunderstand? What do you want to know about the lithium refinery in Corpus Christi, Texas? And everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I can't wait to hear from you, clever robots on the flippity flop.